Dear students of 11th class, and as you know that we were talking about the mineral nutrition in the plants, and we have discussed the importance of various elements, whether they may be in the form of macronutrients or micronutrients. We have talked about their essentiality and importance in the plant growth and regulation of the metabolism. And now today we are going to take up the deficiency symptoms of the essential elements, deficiency symptoms of essential elements, how the various element deficiency of the elements is going to affect the plant growth and the proper development of the plant growth, or how we are going to recognize that a particular element is deficient in plant. What are the symptoms that are going to tell us about the deficiency of a particular nutrient element? So whenever the supply of an essential element becomes limited, that means when the soil does not have the adequate amount of the particular nutrient that is required for the proper growth of the plant, the plant growth, then it is retarded. That means the plant does not grow properly. The concentration of the essential element below which plant growth is retarded, it is termed as critical concentration. It means the concentration of the essential element, the particular element that is required for the development of the plant, if it is when it is concentration is lower in that particular part of the soil, the growth is retarded, and that concentration is called as the critical concentration. The element is then said to be deficient when present below the critical concentration, and that particular element is known as to be deficient. Now, since each element has one or more specific structural or functional role in the plants, every element has one to many specific functions to perform in the proper development of the plant. So in the absence of any particular element, that particular element, when that is absent, plant shows certain morphological changes. Hope you understand this. A plant shows certain morphological changes. The morphological changes are the indicative of certain element deficiencies and are called deficiency symptoms. And the deficiency symptoms vary from element to element, and they disappear when the deficient mineral nutrient is provided to the plant. That means when we supply that particular element in adequate amounts to the particular soil in which the plant is growing, the symptoms are abolished, the symptoms we away. And now, however, if deprivation continues, that means the element remains to be deficient continuously, it may eventually lead to the death of the plant. That indicates how that particular element was going to be important for the proper development of the plant. The parts of the plant that show the deficiency symptoms also depend on the mobility of the element in the plant. How that particular element is going to move in the various parts of the plant. For elements that are actively mobilized within the plants and exported to younger developing tissues, the deficiency symptoms tend to appear first in the older tissues. That means the tissues which are going to wither or which are older in age, they show the symptoms first, or the symptoms appear first in those tissues. For example, the deficiency symptoms of nitrogen, potassium, and magnesium are visible first in the senescent leaves, means which are the leaves which have broken off from the plants or have senesced. In the old leaves, biomolecules containing these elements are broken down, making these elements available for mobilizing to the younger leaves. So, the deficiency symptoms tend to appear first in the young tissues whenever the elements are relatively immobile and are not transported out of the mature organs. For example, elements like sulfur and calcium are part of the structural components of the cell and hence are not easily released. This aspect of the mineral nutrition of the plants is of a great significance and importance to agriculture and horticulture. The kind of the deficiency symptoms shown in plants include chlorosis, that means the loss of the chlorophyll from the photosynthesizing parts of the plant, and the necrosis, that means the deadening of the plants, stunted plant growth as well. The plants do not grow properly. Premature fall of the leaf and buds and inhibition of the cell division. Chlorosis is the loss of the chlorophyll leading to the yellowing in the leaves. The symptom is caused by the deficiency of elements like nitrogen, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, iron, manganese, zinc, and molybdenum. Likewise, necrosis or death of the tissues, particularly leaf tissue, is due to the deficiency of calcium, magnesium, copper, potassium. Lack of the low level of the nitrogen, potassium, sulfur, molybdenum causes an inhibition of the cell division, and some elements like nitrogen, sulfur, molybdenum delay flowering if their concentration in the plants is low. That means a particular set of the nutrients or a particular nutrient affects the plant growth in a particular way that will appear as it is or taken as it is deficiency symptom. So the deficiency of any element can cause multiple symptoms, and that the same symptoms may be caused by the deficiency of one or several different elements. Hence, to identify the deficient element, one has to study all the symptoms developed in all the various parts of the plants and then compare them with the available standard tables, and then we should be aware that the different plants also respond differently to the deficiency of the same element. Oh, thanks. Have a nice day.